Hello students, we have discussed the first and second stanza of the poem Daffodils written by William Wordsworth. You remember what we have learned in the previous class? Okay, so the first and second stanza, the poet, the writer says that the writer is moving around wandering as lonely as a cloud. The poet is wandering. The William Wordsworth is wandering as lonely as a cloud, and the poet is comparing himself as a cloud. The cloud that floats over the valleys and hills. The poet also moving around near the valleys and hills. When all at once he saw a large number of daffodils. He saw a large number of daffodils with yellow bright color beside the lake beneath the tree, and they were fluttering and dancing with the movement of the wind. So he was little taken up by the scene, what he saw there. Okay, and the next second stanza we saw that the poet is comparing daffodils with the stars. So the second stanza, daffodils are compared with the stars that shine on the Milky Way. The stars are numerous. In the same way, the poet is saying that he saw a line, never-ending lines of daffodils. He says, in one glance I saw 10,000 daffodils tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So they were dancing with the movement of the wind. So now we will go to the third stanza of the poem. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in the clay. A poet could not but be glad in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So here the difficult words are glee. Glee means joy. And next one is jocund. Jocund also is, you can say, is a happy mood, merry. We can say happy, okay? And gazing, gazed means look steadily and intently. Looking, gazing means looking, okay? So here the poet says, the William Wordsworth says that the waves also are dancing. So what the waves are doing? They are also dancing, he feels that. As he compared the waves and the daffodils. The third stanza, what he is comparing with the daffodils are compared with the waves. Waves also are dancing and daffodils also with the wind it is dancing. But when both are compared with he found daffodils are much better. So what he finding here? When he compared with both daffodils and the wind, daffodils and the waves, he found daffodils are much better than the waves. Okay? And when the poet watched this scene, how he will not be happy. So when he watches this scene, the dancing of the daffodils, the dancing of the waves, how can he won't be happy? He is extremely happy by seeing the situations, seeing the sight of the daffodils, the dances, the waves, the clouds. See, comparing with so many things here. Okay. So I gazed and gazed. I looked and looked. I could not take my eyes from that scene. Okay. But little thought what wealth that showed to me had brought. How can I be sad now? I feel so bright and I delighted to see the sceneries of what he has seen beside the lake, beneath the tree. The dancing of the daffodils, the yellow daffodils. Okay. So now the last stanza of the poem. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So what he is writing in the last stanza of the poem. In the last stanza, the poet says, when he is lying in his bed in a pensive mood. What is a pensive mood? In a sad mood. Okay. In this line, he talks about his loneliness. So when he is alone, when he feels lonely, nobody is beside him. So in that condition, in a pensive mood, in a sad, in a loneliness mood, what he says? The poet sees the daffodils. All of a sudden that bright thought comes to his mind. What the scene, the sight of the daffodils. Okay, which makes him happy. So, when he is in a pensive mood, in a sad mood, in a loneliness, and he is lying in his bed, though he is alone, that scene comes to him, that gives him that makes him feel happy, and his heart is filled with the pleasure and dances along with the daffodils. He says that when that scene, when that sight, when I remember the past, what I have seen beside the lake, beneath the tree, the yellow bright daffodils dancing. When I am lying in bed in a pensive, in a sad mood, when the thought comes to me, I feel so delighted, I feel so happy, and I feel like dancing with the daffodils. Okay, so, and then my heart is filled with the pleasure and dances with the daffodils. Okay, students, it's a very beautiful poem. Read the poem, very simple language, you can easily learn. So, the first line, what the poet is doing, he is wandering the valleys and hills, and he is a large number of daffodils fluttering and dancing with the breeze. So, he is the second stanza, he is comparing the daffodils with the stars. As the stars are numerous, it twinkles on the Milky Way. Along the margin of the bay, the same way, 10,000s of daffodils he saw, tossing their heads and dancing. And the third stanza he says, he is comparing the daffodils with the waves. The waves are dancing, he is writing here, the third stanza. He says that the waves dances, daffodils also dancing. And he is comparing the waves with the daffodils. So he found that daffodils are much better. He feels, the last line he says, how can I not be happy by seeing the scenery of this nature, the brightness, and it gives me a joy and happiness when I am in a pensive mood. The last stanza he says, I often, when I lie on my bed, as lonely as a cloud, the thought comes to my mind again, the sight which I have seen in the past. So that's that scene, that the brightness gives me joy and happiness when I am in a pensive mood. I feel then like dancing with the daffodils. Okay students, that's all today. You will be writing the poem 8 lines in your copy, learning it thoroughly. Very easily you can learn. It's a very simple poem. You will be learning it, and also a question answer and the word meaning and the exercises. Okay, and be prepared for the exam. Okay, thank you for listening.